Exciting news out of the wonderful world of Nintendo. Join us on Wednesday, November 12th at 6 a.m. Pacific time for the Nintendo Direct featuring the world premiere of the Super Mario Galaxy movie official trailer. Please note that no information will be included in this presentation. So, we are getting one last Nintendo Direct before the end of the year, covering not a game, but the movie. And we were actually talking about this, just the other day, like how excited we were for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, how this was going to be a huge industry defining thing, probably easily the greatest video game adaptation ever. Even though I'm sure there are a bunch of terminally online spurgs who will like advocate for Castlevania, in the real world, Super Mario Galaxy will be the greatest video game adaptation ever. And nothing will even come close. And I really have to wonder how badly the industry is going to seethe about this because this is something that Hollywood was very, very, very upset about. People like Angry Joe and that Grace chick were like releasing all these really crazy negative reviews of this, like trying to diminish its success and popularity. And like they really hoped it was going to be a one off success and they would never have to talk about it again. But here we are a couple of years later with a sequel and another Nintendo movie coming out in 2027. And it's safe to say that the MCU is over and the NCU is in. The Nintendo Cinematic Universe is in full swing, and we are going to see a lot of these movies crack the highest grossing films ever produced very, very soon. Within the next like 5, 10 years, Avengers Endgame is going to get wrecked. There's going to be Nintendo is just going to dominate going forward. It's going to be really cool seeing like Nintendo tackle like films like this and really start succeeding because one of the things I've noticed over the past several years is that like one of the big copes from the industry is this idea that video games don't matter because they aren't as relevant as Hollywood, completely ignoring the fact that video games are bigger than Hollywood and that Nintendo specifically is better than Hollywood. Like Hollywood hasn't produced anything of value in like honestly its entire history. To be completely bluntly honest with you, like Hollywood is slop. Hollywood is something you watch as a child and then like have nostalgic feelings for. It's not something that's actually genuinely well made, interesting, or exciting. Like it is just a means to push communist propaganda onto the masses. Okay, that is communism. That is Hollywood. So Nintendo, not doing that, being an entertainment brand producing high quality brand games that are actually entertaining, that by itself is going to demolish everything that Hollywood has done over the past 30 years. It is shocking comparing like the Super Mario Bros. Movie to like major Hollywood productions and seeing just how better produced it is, how much more fun it is to watch, how much more is going on, observing the pacing, the characters. Like it was a phenomenally well produced movie, outgrossing nearly all of Marvel's offerings. So, with that being said, the Mario Galaxy movie is shaping up to be a massive, massive hit in and of itself. But we are going to be seeing a lot of coping and seething about it. That's kind of my mindset about it at this stage. Is that like it's kind of shocking seeing just how many people like Angry Joe to this day try and gaslight you into thinking that like the Sonic movies were better or that the original wasn't very good and that this one it doesn't have anything going for it. Like you are, I think, just setting yourselves up for failure by talking about things like that. Like you are going to make yourself look like a fool when the Mario Galaxy movie like easily outstrips whatever you're trying to promote that weekend. And you can try to ignore it if you want. You can try and write it off if you want, but it isn't going to result in anything productive, right? You are not going to stop the success of these Nintendo movies. Just like how you couldn't stop the success of the Nintendo Switch 2, right? Just like how you couldn't make the Power World lawsuit into a thing. Like no matter how many times you try, the result will be the same. Like you will not ever succeed when it comes to downplaying Nintendo hardware or its games and now its film adaptations. You are going to have to deal with this every single year going forward. Like, I imagine we're gonna get a new Nintendo movie like every year or every 2 years going forward. I imagine it's gonna be a very regular thing. I imagine by the time the Zelda movie's coming out, we're already gonna know about the next major movie from them. Like, there's gonna be no stopping them once they get going, and it's something that I think a lot of people are just they're not prepared for this because you're going to see Nintendo Switch 2 sales start to spike. You're going to see Amiibo sales start to spike. You're going to see like Nintendo stock prices on the rise. After I acquired them during the dip, like you're going to see all of this happening, and Nintendo is just going to dominate. And there's just nothing you'll be able to do going forward. Like Nintendo's going to outstrip Disney. They're going to be bigger than them. They're going to like just dominate the culture. I think for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Like I think they're set to have a very solid next 20 to 30 years. And there's not really anything that anyone can do to undermine it. And that's why the industry is so scared. Like their legacy characters are Superman, um, like Indiana Jones, like those guys. They're not as relevant as Mario. Like it's kind of crazy to think that Mario has grown beyond characters that were shilled at the time. Characters like Indiana Jones. How we've seen Mario be more relevant than Mickey Mouse. How this brand has grown and evolved, and still to this day, you have a lot of Hollywood people who just kind of refuse to accept it. A lot of people in the gaming industry who just refuse to accept it. And this trailer, I think, is going to be the beginning of the end of that. So instead of turning games into movies like the way Naughty Dog did, they are going to take their beloved video game IP and turn it into a successful film. Something that Neil Druckmann is never, ever going to be able to do in his entire career. It is going to be glorious. It's going to be amazing. Seeing how badly Nintendo dominates the competition in this way. What's next? So after this movie premieres, after we see the trailer, after we see the movie comes out, we have the Zelda movie coming out. So that's going to be a big deal in and of itself, and I think more people are fired up about that at this point. But let us not forget just how big of a deal Mario Galaxy the movie is going to be. This is going to cement Mario Galaxy and its characters as one of the all-time great pieces of media this century. Mario Galaxy is going to be remembered as one of the all-time great video games because of this film. And that is why Nintendo has won.